Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So inshallah, welcome to the third and fourth lessons or from the book of Qassasun, Nabiyeen. Over here we'll be looking at Nasihatu Ibrahim. So this, you could say murakkab or compound, right? This is nasiha. Nasiha means to the advice, you could say, or the advice of Ibrahim alayhi salam. And the Ibrahima, this is this is mudaf ilay. Ibrahima would be mudaf ilay, or it would be in the majrur sense of the word. And again, like we talked about in the last session, Ibrahima doesn't decline all the way because it's one of the foreign names. So nasihatu Ibrahima would mean the advice of Ibrahim alayhi salam. So وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَقُولُ لِوَالِدِهِ. Ibrahim alayhi salam was saying to his father. Okay? وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَقُولُ لِوَالِدِهِ. So Ibrahim alayhi salam was saying to his father. Now a few things really quickly about this sentence before we move on to the next one. So Ibrahimu would be the ism of kana. So for example, let's say we took out kana, wakana, and it would be just Ibrahimu yakulu liwalidihi. So we would say that Ibrahim is saying to his father, right? So Ibrahim would be the mubtada, he would be the subject of the sentence, and yakulu liwalidihi would be the khabar of the sentence. It would be the object of the sentence, or giving information about the subject, about what was going on. So we have over here وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَقُولُ لِوَالِدِهِ. Because of the kana being added, now the mubtada turns into an ism, so it's ism of kana, and the khabar would turn into the khabar of kana. So we have وَكَانَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ يَقُولُ لِوَالِدِهِ, and to further break it down now, so I'm sorry, so the first breakdown would be Ibrahimu is the ism, يَقُولُ لِوَالِدِهِ would be the khabar of kana. Then the second breakdown we would see is we would have to break down يَقُولُ لِوَالِدِهِ. Okay, so يَقُولُ would be the fi'l mudari', okay? It would be the present tense verb, and it would be in marfu state because of the dhamma we see at the end of it. And we see that liwalidihi is the altogether by itself. Liwalidihi would be the maf'ulun bih. So like for example, Ibrahim alayhi salam said, like you would ask to whom, right? To whom did he say something to? Or for example, what did he say? You would ask a different question. It wouldn't be really complete without that. So over here we have Ibrahim alayhi salam is saying, and then saying to who? Liwalidihi. So liwalidihi would be the maf'ulun bih. So it would be fi mahalli nasbin, meaning it would be in the state of nasb, but it wouldn't the whole you could say phrase itself. So now further the third breakdown, li walidihi. Okay, so li is a harf jar, walidi is ism majroor because of the harf jar, right? So when a harf jar is followed by an ism, the ism gets affected and it becomes majroor. Okay, you'll most likely see a kasra, and we'll go into inshallah later more examples of different things or ways that would be shown, or maybe even sometimes not shown when it's mabni. So liwalidihi. Another thing to actually the fourth breakdown now we could even do. And that's maybe one of the reasons why it's kind of important to go into certain sentences. But so the fourth breakdown would be the walidihi. Okay, so walidihi. This is actually two words, right? So walid and then he. So walidihi is mudaf ilay, and so this is walidi of his. So it's basically the translation would be Ibrahim alayhi salam was saying to his father, okay, or father of his, right? So mudaf ilay. So that would be the full breakdown of just that sentence, you could say, in the what we'll be covering. So, Ya Abi. Okay, so Ya Abi, لماذا تعبد هذه الأصنام? I don't want to go into every single sentence because it would be an hour, 2 hours long. But inshallah, we can take one or two lessons from each, thing while we translate it. I think that's the most beneficial way, and that's usually how the madaris teach them as well, or teach this book as well. So, Ya Abi, oh my father. Okay, so ya is harf nida. Nida means it's something that calls, and abi is munada, the one being called. Okay, so ya abi, oh my father. لماذا تعبد هذه الأصنام? Why do you worship these idols? Okay, so one thing, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself, but it's okay. We'll take it inshallah one step at a time. So هذه الأصنام, why would this word هذه be used for asnam? Shouldn't it be هذا الأصنام? Okay, or هذا الأصنام? And that would be a good question to ask yourself, and those who have hopefully been studying some Arabic, you would kind of come to the conclusion, inshallah, if you think about it, and that kullu jama'an mu'annath. So every غير آكل not pronoun, غير آكل, you could say jama plural, is going to be referenced by a single feminine ishara, you could say. So هذه instead of هذا. Okay, so it would be treated as even though it's jama, it's plural, and usually the ismul ishara would meet, or would be the same, right? But in this case, we would say, because it's غير عاقل and it's jama, it's not, you could say, intellectual, and or it does not have thinking abilities or reasoning abilities, and because it's plural, it's because of that we use it as, or we think of it as, a singular feminine word. So هذه الأصنام. Another question we could ask ourselves is, why is asnama instead of al-asnamu, right? So normally it would be al-asnamu. So over here, we talked about this last time too, in the last yesterday's session. And ta'budu is the verb. So we're looking at, okay, what about the verb? Okay, we're trying to find out what's being worshipped, or who are you worshiping? There's still questions that are lingering in our minds. So هذه is actually the maf'ulun bih, the object of the verb ta'budu. So ta'budu is the verb itself, and then you have هذه is the maf'ulun bih. And actually, ta'budu is also, you would say, okay, who is it referring to? It's anta ta'budu, um, but it's the fa'il, the doer is missing. It's actually mustatir. Mustatir meaning it's hidden in the word. So ta'budu is actually yadullu ala abi. It's referring back to Ibrahim alayhi salam's father, right? So we have هذه الأصنام. So هذه is the maf'ulun bih, and al-asnama is the badal. It's the word taking place. So you could even say, for example, ta'budul asnama. You could skip the hadihi, right? So over here we would have, and that's the reason why it's mansub. It's al-asnama, not al-asnamu or al-asnami. The next sentence. وَيَا أَبِي لِمَاذَا تَسْجُدُ لِهَذِهِ الْأَصْنَامِ. Okay, so, oh my father, why do you prostrate to these idols? Okay, why do you prostrate to these idols? And we see a difference over here. Why is it different than هذه الأصنام? Had li, the harf jar, the preposition li actually makes a difference. So li هذه الأصنام. So li makes هذه the jar, okay, or ism majroor, and we can't see it because it's mabni. Mabni means it doesn't change. So hadihi over here in the previous sentence is in mansub state, but we can't see the difference. And hadihi exactly the same. That's why it's called mabni. It doesn't change because marfu would be hadihi as well. But over here we have the the preposition which is causing this to be ism majroor, and al asnami. So that's why that gets a كسرة. ويا أبي لماذا تسأل لهذه الأصنام? O my father, why do you ask these idols? Okay, why do you ask these idols? إن هذه الأصنام لا تتكلم ولا تسمع. Indeed, these idols, they do not speak, nor can they listen, or nor can they hear. وَإِنَّ هَذِهِ الْأَصْنَامَ لَا تَضُرُّ وَلَا تَنْفَعُ. And indeed these idols, they do not harm, nor can they benefit, nor do they benefit. So one thing, because inna is coming, I think, for the first time in these sentences, so we have, just like kana has an ism and it has a khabar, so inna also has an ism and khabar, and it actually has its own little gang. We'll talk about that inshallah later. I'll go over what the members of the gang. But inna, what inna does, or inna wa akhwatuha and its sisters, what they do is they change the ism of inna into mansub state, and the khabar of inna into marfu, okay, raf. And it's the complete opposite of kana. So kana and its, gang, you could say, is also, it makes a change. So the ism of kana is marfu and the khabar of kana is mansub, and inna, it's the complete opposite. Okay, so I hope that inshallah you get that. So over here we have inna hadhihi al-asnama. Okay, asnama. So hadhihi al-asnama. So if, for example, if it would be like, for example, it was وَكَانَ هَذِهِ الْأَصْنَامُ. Okay, it would be هَذِهِ الْأَصْنَامُ. But over here, because it's inna هَذِهِ الْأَصْنَامَ. لَا تَضُرُّ وَلَا تَنْفَعُ. They do not harm, nor do they benefit. وَلِأَيِّ شَيْءٍ تَضَعُ لَهَا الطَّعَامَ وَالشَّرَابِ. So, and for that reason, or because, you could say لِأَيِّ شَيْءٍ would be better translated as for that reason, or because of this, you could say تَضَعُ لَهَا الطَّعَامَ وَالشَّرَابِ. تَضَعُ. Okay, so تَضَعُ means waste, right? It goes to waste. Now, what goes to waste? The food. Okay, الطعام. And that's why الطعام is mansub over here, because it's maf'ulun bih of the تضع. والشراب, and the drink. So the food and the drink go to waste. Okay, when you place them for them, laha means basically that you're placing the food items, or the food and the drink for these idols, they go to waste. So وَإِنَّ هَذِهِ الْأَصْنَامَ يَا أَبِي لَا تَأْكُلُ وَلَا تَشْرَبُ. And indeed these idols, O my father, لا تأكل ولا تشرب, they do not eat nor do they drink. وكان آزر يغضب ولا يفهم. Azar, the father of Ibrahim alayhi salam, got extremely upset. He was angry, and he did not understand. He did not use his reasoning. Okay, and a lot of times that's what happens. So when we get angry, we lose our sense of reason, and sometimes we do things that we regret. وكان إبراهيم ينصح لقومه وكان الناس يغضبون ولا يفهمون. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, he couldn't just keep it to his family and to himself, but rather now he's first went to his father, and now he's going to the qawm, his people. So وكان إبراهيم ينصح لقومه. So Ibrahim alayhi salam giving advice, or was giving advice to his people. ينصح لقومه. Okay, نصح ينصح, or nasiha yansahu, over here. So this, he was giving advice to his people. وَكَانَ النَّاسُ يَغْضَبُونَ وَلَا يَفْهَمُونَ. And they had exactly the same response. They got upset, and so the people were very angry, and they did not understand or use their reason. قال إبراهيم أنا أكسر الأصنام إذا ذهب الناس وحينئذ يفهم الناس. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, he said basically to himself, right? He said to himself. So Ibrahim alayhi salam said, "Qala Ibrahimu." So Ibrahimu it has a dhamma at the end. Think about it. Why? Because it is if you guess fa'il, you're correct. It's a fa'il of the qala, the verb qala. So ana aksiru al-asnama. Okay, I will break these idols. Okay, I will break these idols. إذا ذهب الناس, when the people go, or when go, I guess. وحينئذ يفهم الناس. وحينئذ يفهم الناس, and then at that time, وحينئذ would be translated, you could say at that time. Then they will understand. The people will understand what they were doing. So at least one person was using his logic, but let's see what the response, or what the response is in the next lesson. So we have Ibrahimu yaksirul asnama. Ibrahim alayhi salam breaks the idols. Okay, Ibrahimu yaksirul asnama. Ibrahim alayhi salam breaks the idols. In this sentence by itself, let's break it down. So Ibrahimu is the mubtada, and that's why it's rafa. So in Arabic, when the mubtada and khabar are in the state of rafa. Okay, so Ibrahimu is in the state of rafa by itself. The sentence, you could say jumla ismiya yaksirul jumla fi'liya yaksirul asnama, is coming as the mubtada of Ibrahim. So the sentence is fi mahalli raf'in, walakin the breakdown of the sentence would be yaksiru. So yaksiru is the verb, and it's فعل مضارع مرفوع بثبوت الضمة. Okay, there's a dhamma at the end of the word, or the verb, and al-asnama is the maf'ulun bih, the object of yaksiru. So Ibrahim alayhi salam is going to break basically these idols, okay, or breaks the idols. وجاء يوم عيد ففرح الناس. The Yom of Eid, so the day of Eid came, and the people, or so the people were very happy. وخرج الناس للعيد وخرج الأطفال, and the people left, or exited, left for Eid, okay, for the celebrations. وخرج الأطفال, and even the kids left. So everyone left basically in the city. وخرج والد إبراهيم وقال لإبراهيم ألا تخرج معنا. So the father of Ibrahim alayhi salam, so walidu Ibrahima would be the fa'il of kharaja. Okay, so walidu Ibrahima, it would be the fa'il of kharaja. The father of Ibrahim alayhi salam left. Okay, and he said to Ibrahim alayhi salam, "Ala takhruju ma'ana." He basically asked him, like, aren't you going to go with us? You know, O Ibrahim alayhi salam, or aren't you going to go with us? قال إبراهيم أنا سقيم. And Ibrahim alayhi salam said that I'm not feeling well. Okay, I'm sick. Maybe he was trying to say I'm sick of those idols, or I'm sick of you guys and what you guys have been doing. You know, it could be taken, I guess, in many different ways. So he said ana saqim, and another word for saqim in Arabic is marid. Marid is I'm sorry, marid. So dad at the end, and marid marada yamrudu is the feeling when a person feels sick. وَذَهَبَ النَّاسُ وَبَقِيَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ فِي الْبَيْتِ. The people went and they left Ibrahim alayhi salam in the house. وَجَاءَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ إِلَى الْأَصْنَامِ. Ibrahim alayhi salam went to the idols. وَقَالَ لِلْأَصْنَامِ أَلَا تَتَكَلَّمُونَ أَلَا تَسْمَعُونَ. And Ibrahim alayhi salam, he said to the idols, أَلَا تَتَكَلَّمُونَ, do you not speak? Can you not speak? أَلَا تَسْمَعُونَ, do you not hear, or can you not hear? هَذَا طَعَامٌ وَشَرَابٌ أَلَا تَأْكُلُونَ أَلَا تَشْرَبُونَ. So he said, this food over here, this food and drink, أَلَا تَأْكُلُونَ, do you not eat it? And do you not drink what they leave for you? Of course, obviously, this is referring to the food and drink that the people had would leave as a sacrifice for these idols, and they would just pretty much go to waste. وسكتت الأصنام لأنها حجارة لا تنطق. So these idols, sakat means to stay quiet, right? They were silenced. There was nothing to say for them because they can't speak. So over here, um, I guess remain quiet or stay quiet. And so the idols stayed quiet because they were made of rock, la tantiq, and they cannot have the ability to speak. Okay, so over here we have like nataqa yantiqu. Okay, tantiq, they do not speak. Qala Ibrahim. So Ibrahim alayhi salam, and Ibrahim alayhi salam said, "Ma lakum la tantiqun." Okay, so for what reason you could say, are you all not speaking? Okay, so why do you not speak? وَسَكَتَتِ الْأَصْنَامُ وَمَا نَطَقَتْ. Okay, and again, of course, they were quiet. There was nothing. They didn't have the ability to speak, so they were going to be quiet, or they couldn't say anything back. حينئذ غضب إبراهيم وأخذ الفأس. At that time, غضب Ibrahim. Ibrahim alayhi salam got very angry, and he took the axe. Okay, al-fa'sa or fa's is an axe. And وضرب إبراهيم وضرب إبراهيم الأصنام بالفأس وكسر الأصنام. And Ibrahim alayhi salam, he hit the idols with the axe, and he broke the idols. وترك إبراهيم الصنم الأكبر وعلق الفأس في عنقه. And Ibrahim alayhi salam left the biggest idol with the basically he hung the axe on it في عنقه, around its neck, you could say, or around its neck. And so over here we see that Ibrahim alayhi salam, he breaks these idols, and he's extremely upset, and we'll see inshallah what happens in the story next time. But I hope you benefited, and what I'll do is I'll quickly break down this last sentence because I think it's something beneficial. So we have وَتَرَكَ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الصَّنَمَ. Okay, so tarak means to leave something, taraka yatruku, and it means to leave something, and Ibrahim alayhi salam is the fa'il over here. So he left as-sanama, okay, the as-sanam al-akbara. So he left the biggest idol. As-sanam al-akbara, this is mawsuf sifa. Okay, so mawsuf, the word that's being described, and al-akbara would be the sifa. And al-akbara is describing as-sanama, or the idol, the biggest idol of them was Ibrahim alayhi salam left with it, you could say. وَعَلَّقَ الْفَأْسَ. عَلَّكَ يُعَلِّكُ. This is a mazid fi word, verb, and so it would be عَلَّكَ يُعَلِّكُ تَعْلِيقٌ or تَعْلِيقًا. So over here we have that this verb عَلَّكَ, he left, or I'm sorry, he what's the best translation? I guess he hung. Okay, he hung al-fa'sa. Al-fa's would be the axe. Okay, it's the mafulun bi of allaqa fi unuqi, around its neck. Okay, around the sanam's neck. And I think inshallah that's pretty sufficient for that lesson. And inshallah tomorrow we'll cover the 5th and the 6th lessons. Please share these videos with your friends and family, and I hope that you're benefiting, and I hope that you could please give me some feedback as well. You could email me at ilmscape@gmail.com if you have any advice or anything that you'd like to maybe ask about. I'll be happy to inshallah reply to you at that time. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.